but how have you adjusted, and what's kind of been a sort of highlight for you, you know, during this year, despite, you know, staying home and not being out and traveling and performing per se?
Yeah, I think by the grace of God,
Yeah.
truly, yeah, I just, to be honest, like, I'm very blessed in that I've really been able to take this time to be quite introspective and
Yeah.
be able to get kind of the time to reflect on where I'm at in my life and where I've been at, and kind of just do the unlearning and the healing that really I think needed to be done foundationally before I could really move into the world or into my industry further the way that I really wanted to be moving. You know, I had to get more acquainted with myself. So this pandemic really gave me the time to do that and like get myself in a space that's much more aligned.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
As an artist, I think that that's probably really important for you. What's one thing that you're kind of like waiting to get back to doing when things are finally like 100% like back to normal? What do you miss? What do you want to get back to? Like, right.
Definitely concerts, live music, performing and going to them. I love concerts and I miss them very much. Probably like going out like I'm usually a homebody, but I actually miss going out. Like I miss the option of going out. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
the option of being like, you know what, I'm gonna go to a CD club today and I'm gonna get wasted. Like the interaction might be a little bit stranger for people to get involved with, especially the little kids. Like I feel like, I don't know, it depends on when things go back to normal, quote unquote, but they don't really have a plan for that, nor do they have like a solid idea of when it would be ending, you feel me? So I feel like that uncertainty and that just kind of like, oh, this is kind of just what it is now energy, I think it's just going to be a little confusing to people
Right.
at first.
Totally. You are one of the 5 talented young ladies previously part of the iconic pop group that we know about, Fifth Harmony. And now you've pursued your career path, which is awesome. Tell us a little bit about that, and you know what is sort of I guess like what do you look forward to, and what's been like a big influence in terms of, you know, maybe a role model, or is there someone that's kind of influenced you musically like within the last couple of years since you guys parted ways? What's been like an influence? Who have you looked up to in this new sort of time in your life?
I really think that I'm looking to myself right now. Like I'm looking to myself as my influence and like my spirit guides and ancestors and God for inspiration mostly. Like I'm really trying to get acquainted with who I am and what I love and what makes sense to express. And I find that sometimes it gets clouded by trying to be somebody else, or trying to pursue a certain type of theme or to pursue a certain type of, you know what I mean? Like try to package it. And so I'm kind of trying to flow with it and see like where that takes me.
Authenticity is probably really important. That's what.
Yeah, it's what I've been really able to dive into during this time. So
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so great. I mean, speaking about inspirations and, you know, like maybe like looking within yourself, maybe soul searching, is there anywhere else that you might draw inspiration from? As humans, like we walk around, you know, the world and we draw inspiration from within, but we also have, you know, maybe places that we see or places that we might go or maybe dream about. Is there anywhere else that you might be drawing inspiration from at this time?
I draw a lot of inspiration from nature and a lot of inspiration from experience. So like going through life and enjoying my life and having fun experiences and having difficult experiences and sad experiences. I feel like most of my inspiration is drawn from like human emotion, and kind of my experience with that, right? So like whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever it is that I'm living through in life, is usually what ends up on the page for me.
Totally. And that kind of like brings me to like my next question for you. Do you writing, when you're journaling to write, and you've got a great idea, really cool, you know, kind of a concept you want to go with, and you get stuck for some reason, like how would you clear your thoughts? Or, you know, what's kind of like your way of kind of keeping that flow going, that songwriting flow, that smooth process?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like when I don't feel it anymore, I stop. Like, and I don't really work through stuck moments, because for me it's like if the energy's stuck, that means it's not flowing. So there's usually a reason why it's not flowing, whether it's because I'm not ready to express whatever I'm trying to express, or I don't feel 100% comfortable in the vibe, or I'm just tired sometimes, you know, like, and I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like writing.
Just like...
Yeah, so I honestly, I try to honor my stuck moments instead of trying to judge them and trying to get past them and through them. I try to just honor them, and I'm like, okay, it's not coming out today, but it will. And it's weird because I'm like one of those people that, like, when I'm in a flow, like when I'm writing a song, I flow until it's done. Like it's usually like if I leave anything blank, it might be like a second verse or a bridge, you know, that I haven't finished yet. But the gist of the song, the concept, the melodies, like all that is already there pretty much, you know?
Totally.
So if I get stuck, it's usually before a session starts, or like just the day of the session that I have, you know? I'll just more be like, okay, I don't really feel like writing today.
Yes.
You know?
When you're about to walk into the recording studio, I mean, you're ready to interpret that song, right? It's written, it's conceptualized pretty much. You're ready to like put that into...
It depends. It depends. A lot of the time, I'm writing songs from scratch in the studio with whoever it is that I'm creating with.
Okay.
The producer, or if I have a co-writer or something.
Totally.
So we tend to... I think I've had a couple scenarios where I come in with something, and I think in the future I'm gonna have more of that. This particular album was more like going in and figuring out what's up. And then I find myself lately, I've been like doing a lot of like freestyle type stuff in my notes and stuff. Whenever I get inspired or something comes to me, or like a thought comes to me, and I try to expand on it, trying to challenge myself. So I think those songs will make themselves into songs that I'll come into a studio with at some point.
Right.
But not for the first album, for the other albums. Other stuff.
Awesome. So now we kind of want to talk a little bit, like we'll get back to maybe some music questions, but I'm sure most of your fans and your followers know where you come from, but where were you born, and where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Seminole Land.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm from here, and my grandparents are Cuban, so.
Cuban heritage.
Yes, Cuban roots.
Cuban roots, that's right. And that brings me to my next sort of, question we want to talk about. Tomorrow is the end of National Hispanic Heritage Month. It off. It's from the 15th of September to the 15th of October. As a Hispanic myself, I always sort of reflect. I mean, this month is, there's been a lot going on specifically this year, but, it gives you time to like really honor your kind of your background. Maybe think about like, your parents, your grandparents, and where they were, where they came from. What's most important to you about this time, specifically when you're, think about Hispanic Heritage Month?
Well, I mean, any time to honor our roots, where we come from, who we are, is a beautiful celebration, in my opinion. Is it a month long? Hell no. For me, it's lifetime. For me, it's I'm always orgullosa de ser de donde estoy, you know what I mean? And yo siempre I'm always like excited to be proud of who I am and where my grandparents come from, where my mother comes from, like that's always been part of my identity. That's why when people are like, oh, you're not Latina, I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay. Like you don't have to think I'm Latina, that's fine. I know I am, like I know that what I'm influenced by. I know where I come from, and I know what my grandmother and my ancestors have given me. You feel me? The place. There's all kinds of different, and that's in the diaspora in general. You know,
Yes.
we're all mezclado con algo at some
Oh,
point or another. You know what I'm saying? So.
especially, you know, places like Miami or LA, you know, you've got a lot of diaspora and people from, I guess, our generation are, you know, I think it's a new time, and for us, we kind of have to live in this world where you're one being at home a little bit, where you're speaking Spanish in today's day as an artist, as a role model.
I mean, just being myself, really. Like the opportunity to be myself, to be in these spaces. Granted, I know I have mad privilege, mad white privilege. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really speak to the entire Latinx experience like that, but I definitely, you know, I'm grateful to be in these spaces and to be able to be a voice and to resonate with a lot of my Latinx fans. I have a lot of beautiful fans from Latino America all around, and I know that they identify with me and we identify with each other, and that's
Amazing.
That's one of the most beautiful things in the world, is to be able to do that and to be that voice for whatever purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily to, you know, in some sort of grandiose way where like I'm some important person or in any way, but like just being able to share that truth with each other, you know?
Totally. That's so great to hear. And speaking of, you know, being part of the Latinx generation, it's been so encouraging and inspiring to see you, I guess, further pursue your music and create new music. You've obviously proudly embraced your roots, and you've started to release some, I think, outstanding material in Spanish.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I think that this is just like Lento is definitely like a little taste of it, and then you get a little bit of it in 50 Feet as well. I think that like what resonates with me the most is being able to express myself in both ways. Spanglish energy, always, you know what I'm saying? That's how I grew up, with speaking like Spanglish, Spanish, English.
Totally.
I'm sorry?
Totally.
Yeah, so I'm glad I was able to express that in Lento and 50 Feet. And I think, I mean, I'm sure that I will tap into it on a deeper level, because I feel like even, like, I'm Cuban, so what Lento is obviously a tembo, it's reggaeton, so it's, you know, that originates from Puerto Rico, which of course we have similar ancestors, but still, like, you know, like Cuba's more about like salsa and like that kind of energy. So I'm sure that I'll be tapping into that more and more as I get to know, as I get to learn, as I get to grow, be around other musicians. You know, I'm learning so much all the time, and I'm only 24, so I'm sure that sonically I will grow so much as far as like what I can understand.
Yeah, and that song specifically, Lento, you know, you collaborated with some major Latin writers and producers like Tiny, who's here in Miami, Chris Chill, just great, you know, so talented. There's a lot of, I feel, you know, there's like some real positive attitude that comes in that song, like the line that goes, I was raised by Caribbean waters.
The spicy, thank you. That was my line.
That's a good line. It really, I'm sure, I think it was for amazing part of the market. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to exploring that more and growing in that world, and really, I think also putting out material that's not just commercial, but that expresses in Spanish. I think that's important to me also, because you know, Lento is a great song. I think it's an interesting song. It's talking about, you know, making love to the music instead of just making love to another person or something, you know. But I also think that lyrically I can go way deeper in Spanish, and I hope to.
Yeah, I mean, what you've done already is amazing, and I like how it's like we were just talking about, like English and kind of going between both. When you're recording, when you're writing, I should say, what sort of feelings does kind of writing in Spanish evoke that you might not feel in English? Like Spanish versus English, it's two totally different languages.
Yeah, I feel like Spanish is just a very romantic language in the way, all of the different ways that you can express yourself, and even tonally, like romantic language in the way, all of the different ways that you can express yourself, and even tonally, like singing in Spanish, it comes from like a deeper place. I feel sometimes like my soul taps in pretty hard. And that's not to say my soul doesn't tap in English, because it definitely does.
Of course it does.
But it's like, I don't know. It's like
it taps into maybe a different part of your soul, maybe a different area.
Yeah, and like, ooh, sorry. Even some, like, when I think about it, it feels like it's honoring my ancestors. You feel me? So whenever I like pray in Spanish or sing in Spanish or speak in Spanish, I just feel very hugged by them.
Yeah, amazing. Right, like a closer connection almost.
For the people who are on here, I would really appreciate if you guys could be respectful of what's going on. Thank you.
Lauren, so before we get to some audience questions, you have a big platform. You are, I mean, you're a role model. You're just an influence, a huge influence for aspiring artists today. Did you always know, or did you always want as big of a platform as you have now?
Understand and resonate with. So that's really like what's built my platform and what's built, you know, this role model role or whatever. So it's sometimes, it's a beautiful thing to be that for someone. I don't discredit that at all, and I take that honor very seriously. That I do inspire people, that there are people who really look up to me or resonate with my story and feel themselves in that. I think that that's a beautiful way to connect in life in general, you know? But then I also sometimes feel like a little bit of this, this pressure, but specifically because it's not necessarily my place. You feel me? Like I don't think that any celebrity should be anyone's guiding light. Like I think it's great to resonate with people and see yourself in people and find the good parts of someone that reflect in you and honor that about yourself. Like I think that that's beautiful if you can connect with an artist that way. But I think some people get like kind of obsessed to a point where they want to become you or control you, or like you're kind of everything to them, and then people make it your responsibility to constantly be perfect and a good example, when it's like, dude, I'm figuring shit out. I'm 24, you know? Like, I'm not going to be perfect right now, and I'm never going to be perfect, because that's not even what the human condition is about. The human experience is about refining, you know, not necessarily being perfect, but constantly striving to be better, you know?
Exactly. That's kind of like my next question was, what advice would you give to all of the, I guess, aspiring artists who look up to, who are just starting out, right? Like to be themselves, like you just said,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I think that's the key, man. Figure out who you are, lock in with who you are, and believe in that person, no matter what anybody tells you. Literally anybody, especially not the like scary voice in your head that's mean to you. Don't listen to that person. Listen to your heart and that light that part of you that tells you that, you know, this is your purpose. Listen to that, and I promise you, you will always end up where you gotta be, every time.
Totally. That's a great answer, Lauren. So we have a couple questions. They're from your fans and our viewers and our audience tonight. You don't have to answer any of these if you don't want, but we'll start with a few that have come in from our communications team who's monitoring some questions coming in they thought you might want to answer.
Cool.
What can you share with us about your new album? I know you already talked a little bit about it. Is there anything else regarding maybe a collaboration? It's going to be all in Spanish. What can you tell us?
I'm sorry, babe, you're breaking up. I can't really.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Okay. So
it feels like someone's maybe calling you or something.
Oh, that's weird. Let's see.
Right?
Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
try again.
Okay. So some of your fans are asking what you can share with us about your new album. Anything.
Not yet, man. I can't share anything yet. It's like, I know they're sick of me and telling them the same thing, but it is a process. And right now, again, I'm building foundationally for a longevity and not just for a moment or a quick moment here and there and gone the next. So it's really important to me to build that foundation, and that's not just music related. There's a lot of things related to it, you feel me?
Right.
That people don't understand, and they don't need to understand because it's not really their business, to be honest. So I'm in the process of doing all of that, and then when it's ready and when it's time, it will be delivered. And I know that without a doubt in my mind. And there'll be plenty of music after that as well. There's just so much to give that there's no time limit on it for me. I'm very much like, I'm taking my time.
Oh, absolutely. So Fifth Harmony parted ways. Obviously, you guys are not performing together at the moment, but there had to be, for you, and I think for anyone, when they do, walk into a new part of their life, they want to know, your fans want to know how you came to the decision to actually take that step and branch out onto your own, if there was that moment.
Yeah, I think it was always something that I intended to do. So, I mean, we all auditioned as solo artists initially.
Okay.
So I always had my vision for myself very closely kept in my heart.
Exactly.
And yeah, it was all about opportunity though, and timing, to be honest. Timing at the end of the day. Because everything that I learned while I was in that group has 100% built me to the point of being able to do what I'm going to do as myself.
Right, right.
Which will be very clear to everyone once things start going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're excited about that. What's something about you that your fans may not know about you right now, or that, may surprise people? Anything.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty open book as far as...
You, exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty honest and open. Maybe like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm becoming a better plant mom.
Ooh.
I'm obsessed with plants right now. And I'm taking care of my current babies. They got this like little bug on them that's like a dust bug. Looks like a fucking little dust thing. and it takes the life out of them, and I had no idea. I thought it was just dust. So I'm learning a lot more about plants right now.
Plants. That's awesome. What's your favorite song to perform, if there is one?
To perform, I love singing Expectations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great one. Which you wrote 100%.
I did write that.
That's an awesome song.
Thank you.
What are you listening to right now, besides your own stuff?
Right now, I've been listening to chakra balancing and healing sounds, sonic
sounds, peaceful sounds.
Playing sound bowls. Like, I've been really in my high vibrational stuff.
Your zone.
And then like I've been listening to jazz a lot more lately as well.
Any specific jazz artists that you are into right now?
Miles Davis.
Okay.
Miles Davis's stuff is really hauntingly beautiful, and I love listening to it. So I've been listening to that.
You know who loves Miles Davis? Christina Aguilera.
I love Christina Aguilera, so there you go.
There you go. There's a connection right there.
There's a connection right there.
So any words of inspiration that you want to share with your fans out there who are struggling or going through a hard time?
I love you, and you are so worthy of life, and you are so worthy of being here. And even if you don't know what it is yet, I promise you there's a reason you're here.